Good morning. It's morning for me. Class, I wanted to do your week 8 welcome video. So this week is midterms. Next week, you'll be able to enjoy your spring break, which sometimes um, I know for some online students and other programs, they do not get that luxury. So that's really good that you will have a whole week long break from school that will allow you to kind of recoup a little bit and just get some well needed rest. You do have a midterm that is due on Sunday, the 16th, March 16th. Um, but I just wanted to go over, everything that you're going to be looking forward to this week. But I know especially you're going to be looking forward to that spring break coming up. So, welcome to week 8 of our course. This week, we're going to shift our focus to an often overlooked but deeply important aspect of human behavior: spirituality. As social workers, we strive to understand people holistically, and that includes recognizing the role of spirituality in shaping values, coping mechanisms, and overall well being. We are also at the halfway point, and so I'll also be going over your midterms and what to expect for those. The other thing I wanted to touch on is that we have evolved in social work. So there was one point where we told our students, leave yourself behind, right? Check yourself at the door. Don't bring your stuff to the space with your clients. But it's really hard to do that. It's really hard to, leave your whole person out of the session. And so now, we want you to bring your whole self. We just want to make sure your whole self is not harming our clients for sure. And so that's why there's so much self reflection as well in terms of social work. And so spirituality is one of those things where, sometimes in certain cultures or just in certain spaces, spirituality and religion is not something you want to talk about, right? Politics, religion, you want to kind of leave those behind, but it's a part of a person. And so because you are servicing clients, spirituality is very, very important. Especially if it's important to your client. Obviously, if spirituality is not important to your client, then that wouldn't be something that you would explore. But if it is part of their coping mechanisms, then you absolutely want to explore it and to be able to address it and talk about it. In previous weeks, we explored biological, psychological, and social dimensions of human behavior. And so now we turn to spirituality, which adds another layer of complexity to our understanding of individuals and their experiences. Here's a few reasons why spirituality is really important. First of all, it's more than just religion, right? We know that it's about meaning, purpose, and connection. To something greater than themselves, or just about the values that are important to them, being able to connect to their community as well. It has an impact on our clients' lives with their identity, their coping strategies, and their worldview. Spirituality often, like we just talked about, shapes their values and how they see themselves, how they interpret and navigate the world around them. It can serve as a source of strength or a lens through which they look through life challenges. And then, as social workers, understanding diverse spiritual and non spiritual perspectives allows us to practice with cultural humility and empathy, which we know is really important in the code of ethics. Being able to respect our clients' spiritual beliefs or lack thereof as a key part of their cultural identity. So, we want to make sure we are aware of those things too. And don't be afraid if that's not something that you personally prescribe to. That doesn't mean that you are unable to make sure that you can connect with your client in that way spiritually. Especially because it's more about assessing and exploring with them what their spirituality may be and what that looks like and how that impacts their behavior and kind of the situation that's going on with them. So, in the past 2 weeks, we've examined the influence of family and social networks, many of which shape or could reinforce their spiritual beliefs during their upbringing. Family traditions and community practices could lay a foundation or be connected to the person's spirituality. Or the person could have been brought up a certain way and does not want to be connected to their spiritual upbringing or traditions. In Module 7, we discussed the biological person. Now we consider how spirituality can influence physical health, stress resilience, and healing. Um, Research has shown that individuals with spiritual practices often have better health outcomes and a higher resilience in the face of stress. In other words, spirituality can be a protective factor that contributes to well being alongside of biological and psychological factors. And a lot of times we do overlook it because we're just used to it being taboo and something personal to them, but it also can impact their physical and mental health. And so we want to make sure that we are addressing spirituality for sure. This week's reading and presentations will show how social workers can integrate spirituality into practice in a way that respects diverse beliefs while upholding professional ethics. Pay attention to examples of spiritual sensitive interventions and ethical considerations when addressing spirituality in practice. And then I wanted to go over your midterm. Um, I've already sent you the kind of guide and instructions about it ahead of time, just so that this would not be a surprise to you. Um, we will not have a facilitated discussion, so no discussion post this week. Just focused on your midterm part one, which is a multiple choice exam. It is open for 1 hour and it's an open book exam. There's multiple choice questions covering concepts of modules 1 through 7. What to study. Definitely, we've been talking a lot about theories and frameworks. So make sure you are utilizing your study guide that I provided. Um, and make sure that you're kind of just keeping notes of what you've discussed and read um, and the presentations that you've had already. Then part two. So all of this is due Sunday. You know how we do. All the assignments are due by Sunday. So you have that part one. Part two is an essay. So part one is multiple choice, an exam. Part two is the essay. Um, you just have to submit it by the deadline. It's not timed, right? But you'll need to apply course theories to real world scenarios. Um, So make sure that you're referencing things from the class and readings. You know, I say that all a lot because your course materials are really going to be the foundation of anything that you turn in, including this essay exam. So that's one thing I am expecting to see in text citations and references at the end. It is good to outline your thoughts, to organize your essay, and you want to definitely proofread before submitting. Here are just some friendly study and stress management tips that I wanted to go over. Break it down. Okay. We know that you still have learning material and your midterm. So you might just want to kind of carve out some time to prepare for the exam and for the essay. Um, and be able to work on it throughout. Hopefully you've been working on it already since I shared it early, but try to break it up throughout the week. Review your major theories just to make sure you got that. Again, I gave you a study guide, so just kind of go through and see how you can pull out those important information. Remember to practice self-care, especially on the cusp of our spring break coming up. So I'm really excited. So what you'll see is that everything for this week is due on the 16th. And then module 9, so we're in module 8, module 9, those activities aren't due until the 30th. So you see how we skipped the week of the 23rd. So you shouldn't need to do anything during spring break week in terms of the course. Um, And then that next week, you'll just jump right back in. And we'll pick up with week 9 with our facilitated discussion. And those that are facilitating that will post on that Monday at 2, and then we'll get right back on track. Okay. You also want to kind of just plan your time um, and ask for help if needed. You made it halfway through the semester. Let me know how you're doing. Those that voice some challenges, is it getting easier? Um, Give me some feedback so I know how things are going for you. It's midterm in this class. I'm sure it's midterm in your other classes that you have as well. So let me know if you are kind of how it's going and if there are any ways that I can support you. So I will be looking forward to um, reviewing your material. I have um, graded up through week 5 is done. I did that yesterday. Or over the weekend, I did week 5. It took me so long because there were multiple activities that week. So during spring break, I'm going to catch up. So by the time we come back for week 9, I should have 6 and 7 done for sure. And then I'll be updating you as well. Everyone is doing well. I don't have any concerns. And those that I have concerns about, I have reached out to you. So um, if you have not received anything from me, then you're doing well, and you're going to continue to do well. So please don't have any anxiety around that. But if you have any questions about your grades, please let me know. All right. Have a great week and a great spring break.